one trick that Kamala Harris missed in her speech, it was not a bad speech at all. But one thing she didn't do, she didn't allude to the assassination attempt on Trump. And it's only been 9 days since someone tried to murder Donald Trump and actually shot him in the ear, killing him by a quarter of an inch. Would it not have been a smart move in between calling him, a sexual predator and a con man and a fake and blah, 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 very ad hominem stuff? Would it not have been a smart move in terms of unity had she just taken a moment to acknowledge the assassination attempt and say how pleased she was that he survived it? Something of that nature.
Piers, I find it so bizarre that the onus is always on the Democrats, is always on the adults in the room to create unity. Where was everybody for the last 6 years calling for unity when Donald Trump was president? And, as far as the violence is concerned, I feel like any effort to try to pin, again, the onus on Democrats in terms of lowering the temperature in this country is just a testament to the fact that the Republicans are graded on the curve. Remember, it was not the Democrats. While we're talking about political violence, it wasn't the Democrats who laughed at Paul Pelosi being bludgeoned with a hammer. That was Donald Trump. It wasn't Democrats who called for military tribunals for Liz Cheney. That was Donald Trump. It wasn't Democrats who laughed at a kidnapping plot against Gretchen Whitmer. That was Donald Trump. It wasn't Democrats who called for General Mark Milley to be executed. That was Donald Trump. It wasn't Democrats who posted a baseball bat photo with Alvin Bragg and threatened death and destruction if he was charged. So in all of these examples, Piers, it is not the Democrats who've done this. It's not the Democrats who've validated the use of political violence as a tool in this country. And it shouldn't be on the Democrats all of a sudden to be the adults in the room.
All right, Brian, to a point, Lord Copper, as we would say in the UK, right? It is the Democrats who for 8 years have screamed that he's Adolf Hitler. That's fairly violent rhetoric. You're comparing him directly to an absolute genocidal maniac who murdered 12 million people, including 6 million Jews in a Holocaust. So when you do that, that is violent rhetoric.
Piers, if Donald Trump acts like a fascist, it is not the Democrats' fault for calling him a fascist.
You're saying he is?
That is his
Hitler? He is Hitler?
No, absolutely not. But I'm saying he does act like a fascist. He does want to consolidate power in the executive branch. He does want to send the military into American cities. He does want to.
You have no problem comparing him to Adolf Hitler.
I am calling him a fascist. That's what I'm doing.
That was liberal political commentator Brian Tyler Cohen perfectly shutting down the lies of Piers Morgan on his own show. Now, Piers Morgan, clearly a stooge for Donald Trump, pushing these ridiculous talking points that it's Democrats who are responsible for what happened, the disgraceful assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Just clearly not true and easily debunked by Brian Tyler Cohen. But it wasn't just a lie that Democrats are responsible for any of the political violence happened in this country. That's not true. But it's also a lie that Vice President Kamala Harris hasn't said anything about that assassination attempt. She said this at a rally in Michigan.
On Sunday evening, our President Joe Biden issued a call for unity. And there must be unity around the idea that while our nation's history has been scarred by political violence, violence is never acceptable. There can be no equivocation about that. At the same time, the hallmark of American democracy, the hallmark of any democracy, is a strong competition of ideas, policies, and a vision for the future. And just as we must reject political violence, we must also embrace a robust discussion about what is at stake in this election. The surest way to reaffirm the strength of our democracy is by engaging in a vigorous and civil exchange of ideas. And one of the ideas and one of the principles that is at stake in this election is the issue of reproductive freedom. And that is why I am here today to discuss that topic. And I look forward to our conversation. Thank you all very much.
That is a call for unity. That's what a call for unity looks like. Not just saying the word, but acting on it. Democratic rhetoric, as much as Republicans want to lie about what we say, is stating the case factually against Donald Trump. when we say that he wants to be a dictator, it's not because we're dehumanizing him or overblowing what a threat to democracy he is. It's because he said himself that he wants to be a dictator on day one. We are just presenting the facts outlined in Project 2025 when we talk about it and how destructive it could be to the civil liberties and freedoms that we enjoy in this country. And so for Republicans to try to make up this argument that it's Democrats and not the MAGA movement that is responsible for a climate that encourages political violence in this country, it's just flat out ridiculous, wrong, and needs to be debunked. It is Donald Trump who, since his 2015 campaign started, encouraged, normalized, and laughed at political violence. Examples come to mind like January 6th. Of course, he incited that mob. Or the attack on Paul Pelosi, which he laughed at multiple times after it happened and after one of his supporters carried it out. This is a MAGA issue. It is the problem with the cult's mindset, the MAGA mindset, that they think political violence is normalized. And I'm so glad that Brian shut that down. And I think another person who did a great job shutting down that talking point, who we always love to play on this show, is friend of the show, Jessica Tarlov. And she had this to say.
But nobody who's being an honest broker can possibly believe that the Democratic rhetoric is the problem here. So if the issue is that we're saying all the time that he's like Hitler and he's a threat to democracy, and by the way, J.D. Vance has also said that he's like Hitler, and I guess he's redeemed now. But Donald Trump sent a fundraising email just last week that said Joe Biden is a threat to democracy. And only one of these candidates has inspired people who sent pipe bombs to leading Democrats across the country, who has inspired mass shooters. Talk about firing up the base. Donald Trump has been doing that since 2016. Remember when he said the Second Amendment people could take care of it? When he was talking about Hillary Clinton abolishing the Second Amendment and she'll get to appoint judges. He talked about, remember that congressman from Montana who body slammed a reporter and he said, he's my type. He retruthed or whatever it was, a video of Joe Biden hogtied just back in
That was hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Your examples
hilarious.
are so tiny.
No, they're
We're
not.
talking about an attempted assassination that left a man dead. A shooter groomed and incentivized by
idea.
a drumbeat of demonization.
You have no idea what
can
that
call people.
registered Republican
You can call
was.
people.
Just perfectly put from Jessica. And you know when her MAGA Fox hosts, when her counterparts, her co-hosts on that show get upset, you know that she struck a nerve because her argument is perfect. And it really always is for Jessica Tarlov. Just the absolute best. The only person at the Fox Propaganda Network that we like is our favorite Fox News liberal. And if you like this show, if you like us calling out MAGA lies, pushing back against Donald Trump, make sure that you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, leave a thumbs up, leave a like. It really helps support this channel. We are new, but we are growing so fast. I want to say thank you so much to everyone. We just passed 50,000 subscribers. It only took 2 weeks, and it is because of y'all that this new channel has grown so fast and that this community is so positive and incredible. So I want to say thank you so much for that. It really means the world to me. I am so excited about what we are building right now and what we will continue to build because of you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.